Best strategies to increase, I mean, we kind of talked about one, but to increase lead quality from either the media buying side, copy side, funnel side, whatever you see.
Yep. Yeah, the first one is exactly what you said, because the messaging is the closest thing you have to the input itself, which is the person.
Yeah.
So it's what attracts the input in there. So when I think about lead quality, and the way that I think through things too, guys, just so you're aware, is there's usually, for our type of business or anyone that has an inbound customer acquisition funnel, there's 3 phases or 3 gears that you're stuck in between at any given time. I want more leads is what you're thinking coming in. My calendars aren't full. I need better leads. Like my calendars are full and my reps are usually saying, hey, can we have better leads? Or C, my leads aren't buying fast enough. The velocity needs to increase because the payback period's not there. So I always try to, if I can, optimize past lead quality into velocity. And instead of thinking, I want better leads always, at some point you need to switch into thinking, can I just get the leads to buy faster? Because if I can liquidate faster, and then the things compound.
That makes sense.
Right? So to me, lead quality is like the second phase, and a lot of us are stuck there. We're filling calendars, now we need the leads. So the check down that I go through too is first the messaging. Internally at New Reach, we use the framework A, B, or C level language. And for us in real estate, for sub 2, I'll give you an example. And like that's what I normally ask my media buyer is, if lead quality is bad and I hear it from sales reps or media buyers or whatever, they come to me and they're like, how do we improve lead quality? The first question I ask is, what % of our ads running in the last 14 days? 14 is important because that's our buying cycle. So it doesn't matter what we're running today. If we're experiencing lead quality problems, it's what happened 14 days ago on average.
Right.
So I'll ask, what % of our ads are at A-level messaging versus B-level messaging versus C-level? A-level messaging is accredited investors. It's people who have the financial means to buy our thing. So we'd be using like hooks that work there is like, hey, do you want to diversify your portfolio? Right. You're using language of a certain caliber. Yeah. B-level language is, you can do this with some money, some credit, some part-time. And C-level language is your like low-tier biz op language, which is you can do this without any credit, without any skills, without any money. Just get started with just, not even with just, there's no like with just any sacrifice. So to me, anytime that we've had lead quality issues, usually you can just root it there. It's just like divide, say, hey, I want all the ads by spend, what % fall into those buckets. And you guys will have to tweak those buckets for you, but you guys can easily make those designations. And where I'd start with that is, if you don't know what those designations should be, is just look at every customer who's bought from you on the first call. Like first call buyers are the ones you want to optimize towards. Make that, whatever avatar that is, your A-level language of people that buy just quickly. They have the financial means to do it. They didn't have to go through financing, whatever else.
And that's what you mean by helping them buy faster, is improving the messaging to increase the quality?
Yeah, well, here's no. So
okay, because I figured when you said increase velocity, it's like
velocity is a different
also
strategy.
More like in between the call, creating better education assets, stuff like that.
Yeah, so this is more for media buyers specifically, although I do need sales reps to help me with a quicker feedback loop on this. But to optimize for velocity, to optimize towards lead quality, a media buyer might do something like cut out this targeting that doesn't get us customers and double down on this targeting that does get the customers, but it's at a higher cost per call. Yeah. That's typically what you're going to experience in the metrics is CPM is going to be rising because you're going after a slightly higher market. Your cost per call is rising, but your CPA or your CAC to LTV is good, right? Yeah. To get to velocity, the difference is starting to optimize towards purchase instead of a strategy session. And in order to do that on Meta, you have to have a buyer, or you have to have enough fires through the pixel window within 7 days. Because even though the attribution window of Facebook is 30 days, an attribution window just means if it sees a purchase, if someone sees an ad,
to the ad when they saw it within 30 days.
But it doesn't optimize if it's 14 days out. It only optimizes on a 7-day click, 1-day view, last time I checked, and Facebook's always changing, within a 7-day window max. But you can actually shorten that window down in the settings to 1 day.
Right.
So that is like the gold standard, is to rip optimize for purchase on a 1-day conversion window. And that's going to optimize for the quickest, most naive, one-call close like buyers through a funnel.
Right, but is the purchase the close? Because, I mean, how are you getting enough closes?
Correct.
You have to spend, you have to be, number one, you have to be at scale, and you have to be spending like $8,000 a day in a campaign.
Correct. That's why it's so hard on a mid-ticket funnel. And that's why a lot of e-com buyers are like, bro, it's just easy. You go broad target and you rip it and you optimize for its purchase, right?
Yeah, no, so totally understand that. But if you're high ticket,
can
you even do that?
You can. if you're doing, let's call it 25 deposits plus purchases and financing per week, you can start to optimize towards that direction. Because that's enough fires for the pixel to start to optimize. If anything less than that, optimizing for strategy session application, I find beats optimizing for purchase.
Yeah, that's what I would figure as well. And I'm curious, so when you say you could optimize the pixel for purchase, right? Does generally our campaigns are all like 500 to 1,000 a day. Would that even work with a lower budget like that? Or do you have to running campaigns at like 2, 4, or 5 grand a day? Does that make sense?
You have to be running at typically over $5,000 a day and spend for you to think about optimizing for purchase on a price point of above $5,000, assuming typical close rates.
Yeah. So if I have a lot of campaigns, that wouldn't necessarily work because you need those optimizations at the campaign level. They don't really work at the account level.
No, I think they do work at account level.
I think they do too, to be honest.
Okay. I think they do work at account level. And sorry if I missed the wording there. To me, it's the pixel ecosystem. And you can say to some extent, does Facebook optimize across their whole entire ecosystem? Yeah, but it's a little bit weaker of a cohesion. But yeah, across account pixel optimization, 25 purchases through a 7-day window, I think you can start trying to do it. The best that I have ever done to where, and when I say best, where you want to break that threshold, how you know you've gotten to velocity is when your purchase optimized campaigns are beating, the CPA is better than your strategy session optimized campaigns. That's when you know you're there and you should step on it and optimize more spend towards the purchase campaign. Yeah. For astro flipping, I got as far as placing pixel event in Kajabi and optimizing towards a week 1 purchaser, someone who purchased and logged in.
You do think that even if your campaign is not like 5 to 10 grand a day and you're not doing like the big campaign with all the creatives, like a lot of people do that, like the big conglomerate, like one campaign with all the testing campaigns and it moves up. Yeah. So even if you're not doing that strategy,
even if you're not doing that,
and you're doing a bunch of, let's say, $500 to $1,000 a day ones, you still think you could optimize for a true purchase high ticket?
Yeah, I think you can.
We could try it. I don't know if we've ever tried that. I feel like our CPM would be like $500.
CPM can spike. And like right away, how I get there, guys, though, if it's actually a big jump. So you have a strategy session and application happening on the same event because Saleskick's integrated, right? And they're doing the application and the scheduling all in one step, correct?
Yes, now that would be true. Okay. Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think even with Saleskick, we can fire it twice. We can fire it for app and for schedule. Yes. Okay.
So some ideas I tell people, don't just jump from strategy session to purchase pixel because a lot of times the cost is worse and then they revert back and they don't give it a lot of budget anyway. And they're like, hey, it didn't work. Try optimizing for maybe a confirmation page event and even maybe post confirmation page. Maybe you're going to give them a lead magnet resource to read pre-call. Put that.
Oh, interesting. So you could do it based on, because in Saleskick we could do it based on people who click the pre-call resource that's in the LNS message that sends after call. Yeah, the general principle that you're wanting to hear is you start optimizing towards, obviously, some people, if you don't have leads, you optimize towards clicks. If you don't have clicks, then you're optimizing towards awareness or whatever else. But you're trying to go down funnel as much as you can on your optimization. So me these days, I have enough budget to start with optimize for lead, and then quickly within a day, I'm optimizing for strategy session. Yeah, I get it.
And then so on and so forth.
And then any other things on lead quality you can think of? If not, I have another question.
Yeah, that are not media buying side. This one, so we talked about the financial qualifications of lead quality, the context and messaging ones, but then also the one that a lot of people forget, and I've seen Hormozy mention it, I'm curious your opinion on this too, is the consumption of content, which means to me in principles of influence, the commitment you have to buying something.
Right, yeah.
So for me, I have never seen significant prediction of buying power with someone who has consumed less than 3 minutes on a cold traffic like VSL call funnel.
I understand. Yeah, so you could pixel that specifically is what you're saying.
Correct. Or like for me, if you guys know me, I'm a big fan of button delays. Cole, I know you're not. You run reverse like VSL call sometimes.
Yeah, but I'll tell you this. Consuming. I had a client who they had a low ticket and they did a button delay with a VSL and it like totally made their funnel go nuclear. Like the quality got way better.
The quality
and their CPA was the same.
Yeah, I've never seen the quality get worse when you add a button delay. Is what I always tell people. So that's why it's a principle to me. However, do the overall cost metrics go down? Like there's a different button delay that's right for everyone. What I do, it's super nerdy. I look at a Wistia regression curve of watch time, and I think about where the curve flattens and why. And then I look at how many of our buyers have bought how much watch time do our buyers watch of the VSL?
Yeah, exactly.
And that determines if I put a button delay on it.
That makes sense. Anything else lead quality wise?
No, that's pretty much it. The messaging, the attraction, the financial qual, and the context and consumption.
If you enjoyed this clip, you can check out the full podcast by clicking on the screen right here to check out the full episode.